The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And welcome to The Factor Uncensored. A whistleblower claims illegal immigrant women held at a Georgia detention center are undergoing unnecessary, unneeded hysterectomies. A nurse filed a complaint accusing the Irwin County Detention Center of performing mass hysterectomies. The complaint also accuses the facility of refusing to test immigrants for COVID-19 and shredding medical records. And joining us now here on The Factor Uncensored for this very disturbing case is Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, who's looking into this situation. Congresswoman, if this proves to be true, these allegations, it's totally unacceptable, reprehensible, criminal, and it takes me back to the days of Nazi Germany, of men trying to sterilize women. It's just unacceptable. You guys have started an investigation, I'm sure, or asking for one.
It is unacceptable. And as you well know, this incident did happen in a facility in Georgia. And this person, Jane Doe, was transferred to the Houston area simply to be deported. And interacting with the Houston leadership in this area of DHS, I'm very glad they responded to my inquiry and my explanation that a congressional investigation was about to go forward and that she was removed from the airplane that she was on and about to be deported. I mean, that should be noted. Their cooperation was important, but they recognized that this might be a major congressional investigation. And yes, this cannot be tolerated. And let me give you 2 points. One, this is operating under the President of the United States, who has a constitutional duty to execute the laws carefully. It is a take care clause to do what is right on behalf of the American people. The American people have not advocated for any form of torture or unwarranted medical procedures on anyone who is incarcerated, although it has happened in the past. And during that time, the government has had to remedy and compensate individuals such as the Tuskegee experiment and the syphilis experiment when those things occurred. So that is unacceptable. Secondarily, I've been on the Homeland Security Committee for at least 2 decades. It was organized after 9/11 to protect the national security of the United States. It was not organized to do any unwarranted procedures that might result in offensive actions in the name of the American people. So I know that what we have to do is clear this up quickly. So we've asked over 170 members for an Inspector General's investigation immediately to see whether this is throughout the system or whether or not it is in this particular privately contracted government detention center.
And that's in Georgia. Congresswoman, for those who may be just joining us again, give us the facts that we know it from the whistleblower as we know what happened when it comes to these sterilization cases or hysterectomies performed by a doctor without these detainees without their permission.
Well, we're very grateful for the whistleblower. And what this whistleblower indicated that there was a medical doctor, a doctor that was performing hysterectomies in the detention center in Georgia without the permission of the women who were immigrant women who were in the detention center, probably in line to be for immigration violations. And let me be very clear, those are civil violations. Mm-hmm. Most of those are not criminal violations. And allegedly was doing procedures, medical procedures, such as the hysterectomy without the women's support or consent, and some believe unwarranted and unwanted. And that individual, the whistleblower, was a nurse who was subsequently demoted. She believes she was demoted because she told the truth. And one of those individuals was sent to Houston to be immediately deported. That is the person that I was able to secure her removal from the immediate deportation on a commercial flight in the last 24 hours. I'm grateful that that happened. I'm grateful that we were able to interact with individuals in this area, part of DHS, who thought about the facts, thought about the fact that she might be part of a major congressional investigation, which is going to occur through the committee that I am a member of, Judiciary, to investigate. So that's how we got where we are today. And what we're trying to do is say that is not the American way, whether or not you're in detention or not. That is not what the Department of Homeland Security was set up to do. It was to provide for domestic security, not to separate children from their mothers, and not to put people in cages, and not to do hysterectomies without the consent of the individual that is detained.
Now, Congresswoman, this doctor who is a private contractor for the ICE facility in Georgia, do we know what his motive is? Is it something nefarious, or is this about payments? More complicated procedures would bring in more money in, if it's true. I'm
not gonna make any judgments on his motive. I do know that he is contracted through a private detention center that is also contracted through the federal government. I've always been concerned about bad acts occurring in those facilities because they're not subjected to the Freedom of Information Act. Families can't find out what is happening to their loved ones. So I think what we need to do is to not make a judgment, but we need to listen to all of the facts, and particularly the facts of those women who have made those allegations, who it can be well documented. Did they get a hysterectomy or did they not? Did they know they were getting one? Did they give consent? Was it a medical emergency that had to happen? Because what has been represented is that these women were sedated for a procedure, and when they were finished, something happened that they may not have agreed to. I'm a person of facts and the law. I believe we cannot stop without a full investigation system-wide, and we need to look at practices in these privately contracted detention centers. There's sometimes good behavior and sometimes not.
And of course, we'll continue to follow that story and look for all the latest developments. It's just unbelievable.